By the time I was 5 years old, our parents were divorced, uncommon in those days. Our dad, a cruel man, was verbally and physically abusive to our mother. Her doctor warned her that if she did not leave, our father would kill her. Still very young, she returned home, and we 4 children remained with our dad. This was an era when society did not provide women a means to head a household and financially support a family. There was no child support or assistance to women with children, and no food stamps. Our dad refused our mother to see us. We children were afraid of him and would run and hide when he came home. To our dismay, Judy would run to him. Because she had been born sickly, he petted and pampered her. I missed my mother terribly, especially at night. During the day, I could occupy myself at play, but spent hours into the night crying for Mommy, my pillow damp with tears. Eventually, the Grays took me to be with her. They stood and watched as Mom knelt and held me. I tried to get them to take me again, but for some reason they wouldn't. Even at that young age, I knew someone was listening in, and periodically, I would talk to them. I would do this all my life. We went through a series of live-in housekeepers, but there were long stretches where we went without proper supervision. We dug in the trash cans and begged food from aghast neighbors up and down our street. We did not bathe. We ran barefoot with blackened little feet. Nighttime meant going to bed hungry and sleeping in our dirty clothes. It was our dad's habit to go straight to his mother's house after work. This meant driving right past his home and us hungry children alone. Grandma would fix her youngest son, our dad, a big meal, after which he would relax on her couch and not return home until late in the evening. One day, Judy rushed in to report that she had spotted some kind of red fruit on Mrs. Wilder's front porch. Maybe it was apples. We rushed back to the scene, but on closer inspection, it turned out to be tomatoes. Surely she left them for us. After all, she worked at the school cafeteria across the street and always gave us extra helpings or extra milk. Like miniature bandits, we made off with the tomatoes that had set in the sun to ripen. Days later, we returned looking for more treats. Finding none, we knocked on her door. "Do you have any apples?" Surprised, she said that she didn't. "Well, do you have any of those tomatoes like before?" Mystery solved. "So, you took my tomatoes," she said with a laugh, then returned with us a tomato each. Roy, being the oldest, learned how to ride the bus from the elementary school to our grandparents' house. One early summer's day, with hunger pains in our bellies, we begged him to show us the way. He hesitated, saying that it was dangerous, but relented under our whining and pleading. We were hungry and needed food. If we showed up there, Grandma would feed us. We set about our journey, which meant crossing the 4-lane highway of Interstate 59. Things were fine until 3-year-old Troy froze on the median between north and southbound traffic. Drivers honked as they whizzed past. "Run! Run! Run!" We'd yell from the other side. Then, "Wait! Wait! Wait!" Poor little Troy just stood and cried. Roy saw an opening and ran to retrieve him. Grandma was somewhat alarmed that such small children had managed to make the trek to her house. She made me my favorite food, extra crispy French fries. She even made chocolate and lemon meringue pies. When our dad showed up, she scolded him, and we were told to never come there again. Roy was especially devastated. On occasion, Grandpa would walk to our house bringing fruit or candy, which he carried in the pockets of his overalls. We saw him coming late one morning as he rounded the school hall. He appeared small off in the distance, an optical illusion I did not yet understand. I asked Roy, "Why does Grandpa look so little when he's way over there?" Roy laughed, "Because he's far away." Still curious, I said, "Yeah, but he looks this big," holding up my fingers. I tried to make my eyes zoom in to confirm it was him, but they wouldn't. It must have something to do with our eyes, I decided. We 4 stood on the porch, eagerly waiting. Finally, Grandpa stood before us, looking like Grandpa, smelling like Grandpa. But I remained unconvinced. It wasn't until he spoke and I heard his kind and raspy voice that I accepted it as him. He pulled oranges and peanut brittle from his pockets and passed them to greedy little hands. "Did I ever show you the secret to peeling an orange?" he asked. Grandpa was going to show us a magic trick. He took out his fishing knife, the one I had watched him gut and scale catfish with many times. He trimmed off the top and bottom of the orange and made slices down the side, an easy peel. Grandpa was so smart, and we dearly loved him, but he couldn't stay long and took his leave, headed off down the street. Suddenly, Grandpa fell into the grass at the side of the road. We were always falling, but I didn't know that grown-ups could fall. When we saw that Grandpa couldn't get up, we wanted to go help him. As I took my first step, a man's voice, clear and urgent, said, "Don't go down there." Looking around, I didn't see anyone. Unmistakably, I had heard it, did not recognize it, but knew to obey it. I relayed the order to Roy, who anxiously tested the edge of our front yard as far as he could go. A neighbor woman had witnessed Grandpa's fall from her front window and rushed to help. Roy ran to join her. Hearing the woman reassure him, I felt that Grandpa was going to be just fine, and I went back into the house. For many years, Grandpa was confined to a wheelchair. All he had left was his humor and tall tales. No more camping or catfish fries. No more picking the banjo or hoedowns. He would have Roy place the banjo in his lap and just weep. As small children, Judy and I would sleep in the same bed in the back room. One night, we could make out two shadowy figures at the foot of our bed. We put our tiny heads together and decided they were bears. It took another half a moment for us to think, "Bears," and start screaming at the top of our lungs. Our housekeeper came heaving down the hall in a panic. Two bears were standing at the foot of our bed, we insisted. We could see them, and they were going to get us. Glancing around the room for bears, our housekeeper slowly recovered her senses. Relieved, she made us promise to never ever scream like that again. Soon after this, we noticed that two glowing silhouettes would appear in our room at night, standing on each side of our bedroom door. They were about 4 feet tall, and we could see the shape of a head and shoulders. Sometimes one of the glows would be at the foot of our bed, while the other guarded the door. I figured that the glow by the bed was Judy's because she was sickly. We decided that they were our guardian angels because we were motherless children. When we would sleep at our aunt's house, the glows would follow. Sometimes a round glow would be over the door facing. Mother would tell the story of how when she was young, when she would walk down the hall at night, headed to the restroom, the ceiling just above her would be lit up in a glow. She knew the light was coming from her because it moved along as she did. The glow at our bedroom door could have been the consciousness of alien beings outside their fabricated bodysuits. But what caused the glow from my mother as a child? Was she a light being living a human experience? And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And don't forget to share because this story is just getting started. And remember, stay curious.